When I suddenly fell sick from rheumatoid arthritis, but suddenly I found that all my joints, they have started paining. Even this small joint, I couldn't open this joint. What to talk about the knee, about the other parts of the body? I was almost lying. I had taken any medicine. I had taken allopathic medicine. If somebody said that yes, somebody is there who gives this tribal medicine, I had gone there. I spent a lot of money, and that's the time I tell you that twice or thrice I had thought that life has nothing to do. I can't do anything at all. I thought of even committing suicide. I introduced myself as Professor Dr. Narendra Mishra. I served as a professor in political science for a long time and a retired person now. I'm a social activist working in the tribal areas nearly for the last 35 years in the undivided Koraput region. As well as I'm a theatre activist too. I'm a playwright, a director, an actor, a film actor, and it's a great pleasure that I got the opportunity to talk to a set of youth. It's a great pleasure really. I'm at 66, but I shall be addressing or I shall be talking to people, those who are say around 20, 21 plus up to say around 40. Well, it's a question of sharing my experience of life. Life is a process, my dear friends. It starts and it ends. And in the process, there is only one thing that is called activity. And while we do activity at different stages of our life, different phases of our life, we experience different type of things. Well, my dear friends, I do not believe in the theory of success and failure at all. There is neither success, there is no failure. It's a question of one's activity. When you are doing something, you have a desired goal. And when you move on towards that goal, if you reach that goal, it's all fine. If you don't reach that goal, that's all fine. In the sense that you need to divert yourself. You need to change your path. You need to change your goal. That means, my friends, you need to stop at different intervals and make an assessment of yourself. Make a review of what you have done. So, you can know actually whether you need to go for a different way now or to improvise yourself. That's very vital. That's very vital. So many times I had seen that many young people, they go on and go on. Blindly they follow whatever they call their dreams. And suddenly they find that there is a black screen. They can't go beyond that. That's enough. That's cut. No. They get frustrated. They get depressed. Wrong lies there only. In every step or in every 10 steps, you make an assessment of yourself. What are you doing? Where are you going? Are you going towards the goal? Or are you finding that your goal has got extended? Or it has become multidimensional? Because new and new things comes up, the more and more we go. And accordingly, my friends, you need to design your dreams. Designing dreams is a very difficult task. But those who stand on reality, those who stand on activity platform, there is no problem at all. It's not that all the time that we want to, whatever we want to have, we get that. Not at all. And you cannot, as much as my knowledge goes, there is not a single person in the entire world that in the first stroke, the first goal has been accomplished. No. People have improvised. Take the name of many people, either Gandhi or Einstein or even APJ Abdul Kalam. If you take the very successful people, popular people, if you go through their life history, biodata, you will find out that they have fallen. Fallen in the sense, I tell you, they could not get their goal. They have changed themselves, they have improvised themselves, they have taken the, that is how they have gotten into their set goal. So that is what I told you, that I do not believe in the theory of success and failure, and sometimes people say that failure is the pillar of success. I do not believe in that. I do not believe in the sense I don't want to falsely motivate anybody. I don't stand on a false platform. You couldn't do, so what? No problem. You are a human being with your own limitations, either physical limitations or your mental limitation or even IQ limitations. All of us are not same IQ wise, not physical wise, not mental ability wise. Then if we couldn't do certain thing, nothing to feel sorry about it. There are other things to do. That's not the end of the world, not the end of your life. So that is how we need to go on and go on and go on till the last day. As much as possible, we need to move on. Well, if we talk about I should say that low-lying times. I don't say failure times, I say low-lying times. I had my own share. Physically, I tell you, by the time I was around say 32, that's the years, when I suddenly fell sick from rheumatoid arthritis. I am a very, very dynamic person moving around in the bike hundreds of kilometers. But suddenly I found that all my joints, they have started paining. Even this small joint, I couldn't open this joint. What to talk about the knee, about the other parts of the body. I was almost lying in the morning. It took around me say 2 hours to get myself to stand. I had taken any medicine. I had taken allopathic medicine. If somebody said that, yes, somebody is there who gives this tribal medicine, I had gone there. I spent a lot of money because at that age I want to be mobile. Once a person loses the mobility, his life is finished. He can't move anywhere. So that is how I tried. And that's the time I tell you that twice or thrice I had thought that life has nothing to do. I can't do anything at all. I shall be a burden on my wife, who happens to be by the time the principal of a women's college. I thought of even committing suicide. But the very next moment I thought 32 is not a big game. Well, I can stay like this for 2-3 years. So what? In the long span of around say nearly 70-80 years, 2-3 years staying idle is not a big thing if I can get up. And that gave me the boost. Well, it was all my internal dynamics and the inspiration of my missus. And that's how once again, within 3 months that I was taking medicine from Dr. Sisir Patnaik, I became all right. And I joined this Sunabada Aeronautics College as a professor in political science. So it has a story too, because initially I was a lecturer, and then onwards, because of my uncle's inspiration, I came down to Raigada for an industry. But there were so many mishaps in that industry, in the sense I could not get the proper cooperation from the different government departments, the timely support from the banks, and at the same time there were some labor problems. So I was really bankrupt. For months together I didn't have any money. By the time another worst thing happened, that my daughter was sick. Well, by the time my daughter was only say around 3 years. And at that time she had gone to a neighbor's house where she took something like say till and she got into this diarrhea and was almost lying bedridden. And by the time I was having no money, when I say no money, it is no money. For around say 4 or 5 days I had no money to put petrol in my bike itself. I was having only 12 rupees. But by the time still I was trying how to come up, and I could get one Kabira's Ayurveda doctor he had visited, and he gave some medicine to my daughter and said, go boy and get that medicine. My question was, is it more than 12 rupees? I can't pay. But he said that it's around 10 rupees, and I started running because I was not having a bike. So I ran for around 3 kilometers and I took that medicine, and by God's grace, I should say, when that was given to my daughter, and daughter wake up around, say, within 3-4 hours. So these are the different times that one has to lie. Lying low is not death. Lying low is not committing suicide. Lying low is just maintain that particular phase. Rightly said, time is a great healer. So my friends, I would like to tell all of you that one thing, you need to be all the time dynamic. I was telling you, by the time I recovered from arthritis, I was having no job. Only my missus was working. But when I got a chance to stand for an interview in the HL college, then I joined. My missus prompted me. She told, yes, with your English and with your style and all that, definitely you are going to get it. One thing that I was doing, and I would like to tell all of you, what I have done is, all the time, every day I read newspaper. I am always updated about all the happenings, both national and international. That helped me a lot. So when I went and I appeared in the interview, there was only one post, and there were around 62 candidates with PhD and all that. But I excelled because of my performance in the class, because of my knowledge, content knowledge. And once again, I started moving on as a teacher, and that's how I moved for around, say, 26 years. And that's the time when I was there in Koraput. I came across the socio-economic situation of the tribals. Orissa stands a home to 62 varieties of tribals. And in Koraput district, the undivided Koraput is well known for these primitive tribal groups like, say, Langia Sora, Dangriya Kandh, Bandas, all those people are there. And I started working among them. I worked for tribal rights, tribal land rights, then this children's rights, then right to education, then regarding development induced displacement. So many things induced me and interested in me. So during my leisure hours, I make it a point to be there and to know what is life. Theory is not life. Reading is not life. If you meet people, if you talk to people, then you feel the test of life, or you feel the pain of life. And that's the way I'm well versed in their language, and I worked and I got tremendous satisfaction. During the time, I tell you one experience that comes to my mind. I was appointed by my collector, Koraput, for a self-employment training program. While I went and make the program, that was a 3-day one. That was about training the youth for their tribal art fair. This bamboo works, then the mitti works, soil works and all that. While I was doing that, there were 3 boys, young boys, they were listening me, no problem at all. But they never appeared to me as they were interested. So on the last day, I asked them, actually, what is your problem? You tell me. Why are you not interested about it? You never asked any question. Then they asked me, they said something which is $1,000 statement. They said, when you are going to train your son or daughter, you will train them in computers. We are tribals. That is why when you are coming to train us, you are putting us once again into that bamboo, mud and all that. Why don't you put us in modern technologies? My friends, I was really dumbstruck. I thought, right. Why shall we not put this youth? Don't categorize them as urban youth, rural youth, tribal youth. No, not like that. So immediately, actually, I talked to my collector. I said, immediately you send 2 computers. They said to send 2 computers. I installed in the school itself, and that day it was a fair. None in the village, they were, I mean, say the young girls, they also didn't go in the talk, etc. There was like a fair. Everybody wanted to do something with that computer. And I recommended around say 20 persons named to the collector. They were given free training. At present, out of them 18 are employed in different NGOs and they are flourishing. They are doing wonders. Most of them have completed MBA. So what I meant is, my dear friends, my experience, I said, I hardly in my life I quote people. I hardly in my life I borrow ideas from others. And I had seen how this modern youth, capable enough, potentially wonderful than the last generation. They can do wonders, but they need proper guidance. There is just saying, an ounce of practice is more than 1,000 tons of advice. 1 ounce of practice is more than 1,000 tons of advice. So if you find a person who has done worthy things and he has come up, you make a study of that, discuss with them, you get your way. As it is rightly said that this present generation, you are known as the orange children. Because in every 25 years there is a generational change or genetic change. You are more intelligent, your IQ is very, very high. 12 codes in your gene that is active, whereas our codes are only 10 codes are active. You have great potentialities. That's why we say today, while I was actually around say 22, I was a hero in one of the films, that is Parivar, but I couldn't dance there. I was best actor by the time, all Odisha, but I was not able to dance because I didn't know that Tala, Laya, all those things. But my say granddaughters who is around say 3.5 years, 4 years, you find they can dance. You are seeing in the TV with 10,000 these lights and so many people with orchestra, they are able to maintain tal, la, etc. and they are able to sing. That speaks about the potentiality. So when the potentiality is more, it needs to be properly groomed. How far our society is competent enough to groom them? Where are the parents? Where are the teachers? Where are the future makers? Who is going to tell what is what? So we find all the time, my friends, that all the time you don't need a hand. I'm competent, I'm confident enough. You have tremendous ability. But when you need a hand, there must be some hand just to suggest you. You don't need to be advised. No, not necessary at all. It's a suggestion. And very shockingly, we find that most of this youth in the age group of around say 13, 14 to say around say 20, 21, they get engaged in different criminal activities. Shocking. For your information, India is a youth country. Around say 60% of the population, they are young. But if the young becomes criminals, if the young becomes corrupt, if the youth is wrongly they move, the country cannot prosper. Everything depends upon the shoulder of the youth. They are becoming drug addict. They are becoming criminals. We have seen that engineering students breaking these ATM counters, so on and so forth. That gives a very shocking. One thing that I feel personally, that there is the lack of this ethical knowledge, spiritual training or ethical training in our own families. Previously, in my times, in our all school textbooks, there were articles about ethical articles, like say from Panchatantra or say from Dharma Buddhi, Papa Buddhi Katha, so many things. So from that, at a formative years, we are able to know what's good, what's bad, what's the societal conduct, what is ethics and all that. But unfortunately, today, in the name of secularism, we find there is nothing. A human child has become a byproduct. Instead of a blessed child from God, that is how a child is being treated. But today, it has become a byproduct of a sexual relationship between a man and a woman called father and mother. So our relationship is choked up. And my dear friends, when the relationship is choked up, when the family system gets disrupted, when the parents don't feel themselves accountable or responsible for the growth of their children, how do the children grow? That is what is my experience during the last so many years as a teacher. I give an example. There was a boy who was not reading, just an average student, but he was standing outside. My principal was going before me, and he made a mockery of my principal. And the principal became very angry, and he returned back. But I went there. He said, I'm like that. I just gave 2 slaps and I told, what are you doing here? He just went away. And I went my home. But I got a call from the principal that you come immediately. I said, I'm coming. I came. There is a disciplinary committee meeting. Already it was over. And principal said, you sign it. The boy is to be rusticated because he made a mockery of myself. I said, no, nothing happened. I just acted as if nothing has happened. Then I said, sir, don't make a criminal. The boy has done something wrong, so what? We have done 1,000 wrongs, but we have been corrected, put in the proper place by our teachers. We are to put the boy in proper place. If we rusticate, he will become a criminal. That is how criminals, young criminals are made. They have tremendous potentiality, but we don't have the right to show them the right passes, so they get astray. So, and for your information, my dear friends, that boy, after say 5 years, he met me in the Raigada bus stand. He was in a army shoot. He came to me, took out and made a salute, and I could know him. Then he said, sir, it is because of you only I am in army. If at all that day rustication could have been, I could never have been army, I could have turned out to be a criminal. Well, that was the greatest certificate and contents and satisfaction that I got. So, any young children, they need to be properly guided everywhere. Another important thing that at times I say, all these wine shops, drug availability, it has become rampant in the name of freedom. Freedom or liberty. Well, fundamental right is not to destroy somebody. It's not that at a particular age or after attaining a particular age, somebody should take narcotics, somebody should take drug. This has become the largest problem of the day. That leads to criminality, that leads to terrorism, that leads to some other thing. So that especially that drug availability, that need to be very, very strongly, it has to be restrained, coupled with spiritual or ethical knowledge to be induced to the youth in the adolescent phase, that will lead them to the proper space. Well, when we talk of spiritualism, it deals with spirit. From the very outset, you must know that there is a distinction between say religion and spiritualism. Religion is something different, as we say Hindu, Muslim, Christian and all that. But spiritualism is looking into your own self or internal self or inner self. It's a journey to your inner self. It's not to the external self. Spiritualism is getting into yourself. What is that getting into yourself? Means analyzing your own deeds, analyzing your own mind, analyzing your own potentiality, reviewing yourself. That is how you get on to this. And basically we say X is a spiritual master. That means that particular person gives you ideas or suggests how you will get into yourself. It's not so easy. Getting into oneself is not easy. So there are great people. I can take the name of say Vivekananda, wonderful person. I mean, the icon for me and for the entire youth for coming centuries together. If there is a single icon, it is Swami Vivekananda. It doesn't belong to any particular religion. I take him as a spiritual master. There are many spiritual masters who tells you what is good and what is bad. What is good for yourself, what is bad for yourself. What is good for the society and what is bad for the society. And what is good for the future and what is not for the future. And what is good for the world and what's disastrous to the world. That is spiritualism. It's not simple, say, religious matters or say rituals that usually we do, this jatra, that festival. No, this has no connection with spiritualism at all. It is the movement of spirit. Spirit is my own self. Either I can call it soul or whatever may be. Spirit is my own self, the movement of myself in the proper direction for the betterment of the mankind, for the betterment of the world. That is spiritualism, and it has a great role in our life because that makes and molds our own life. That's how where I stand. This is Dr. Narendra Kumar Mishra sharing with wonderful experience with the modern youth, and I wish all of you need to design your dreams accordingly and reach your dreams. Thank you, friends.